everywhere. GBS.
Good evening and welcome to the Insight Tonight. Tonight, of course, we on the Insight Tonight join Kenyans and the world at large in mourning the General Ogola, even as we lost him in a tragic accident. Of course, on the Insight Tonight, we have a series of issues to discuss on the current state of affairs. And of course, we have with us as part of our guest, Irungu Evans, who's joining us here. Thank you so much, Irungu, for joining us for this conversation. And of course, we also have Eric Naibei, who is also joining us online for this great conversation on the Insight Tonight. 21144 is our SMS line at GBS TV Africa at Quatch Official. And that is, of course, where you get to engage with us. And gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for this conversation. Perhaps if I can just start with you, Mr. Rungu.
Okay.
I know it's still a sad day for Kenyans for losing a general. But I would wish to indulge in a conversation about the state of affairs generally. We talk about a lot of things. But if someone asked you, Irungu, what is the current state of affairs, what will be your answer?
Thank you, Eugene. First and foremost, I hope to give, or I wish to give my condolences to fellow Kenyans for the passing of our general, CDF, Ogola. And on your question, the current state of affairs depends on the three pillars that we have. We have the economic pillar, we have the social pillar, also we have now the other, there's another, pardon?
Politics.
Yes, politics, and we also have the political pillar. So when you come to the economic pillar, I can say that we are in the right trajectory, both in the as individuals and also as the country affairs. Politically, we're also doing fine. There are no more demonstrations. We have a very cordial working relationship between the executive and the legislature. And also socially, we have continued to have a really good standing amongst our tribes, our citizens, and the foreigners. So the current state of affairs is actually doing quite well. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Naibei, if you can get me, and are you getting me? What do you think about this, Mr. Naibei? What is the current state of affairs?
Thank you very much, Eugene. I'm glad to join this wonderful session today. Yeah, I agree with my colleague that the current state of affairs of our nation is that we are generally doing well. We also, the trend in terms of the Kenyan shilling gaining against the US dollar. We've seen so many milestones in terms of our economy. Prices of goods have come down. We've seen tremendous progress in that regard. And I think it can only get better, with a few challenges that we are still facing, including in the agricultural sector, where farmers are currently grappling with issues of fake fertilizers, fake seeds. I think generally we have a lot to celebrate, and we have a few areas we need to look into. So economically, we are on the right trajectory, in my opinion. Politically, I think things are also settled. We are not doing the way we were last year, 2023, at such a time. I must say we have improved, and we only hope that it gets better than this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eugene.
Mr. Nabil, let me just ask you, when you say that things are quite settled, what exactly do you mean? Do you mean that now Kenyans are happy with everything? When you talk about maybe the prices of goods have gone down, does it mean now that everything is now well, that we are now on the right trajectory, like in everything? I don't know what exactly you mean by we are now better or we are doing well.
I mean, we are heading in the right direction. Eugene, if you remember last year at such a time, for instance, politically, we still had a polarized country where we had the Azimio team still calling for maandamano. And currently, the Azimio leader is eyeing the position of AU Commission chairmanship, and he has the support of the government. So in that regard, politically, I can say things are settled. We are a peaceful country, and things are not as volatile as they were last year at such a time. In terms of the economy, of course, we are not where we are, but at least we are better than where we were last year. If you look at the price,
Okay.
they say so.
Okay, Mr. Nabe, it's okay. Well, let me come to you, Mr. Irungu, because we're having this conversation around the state of affairs. And one thing that actually we cannot ignore at this moment is the morning, and when we talk about General Ogola, General Francis Ogola. General Francis Ogola actually met his tragic death.
Sure.
And that was yesterday. I don't know from where you sit, how do you mourn General?
Thank you, Eugene. First thing, I like I am mourning. We are still in shock. First, we are still in shock. I still haven't yet grasped the magnitude of the issue. Also, second, going with the torture rules of the military regime that actually does not allow a vacuum in the CDF. So we still had to first feed that vacuum, so, and then now we can have like the 3 days of mourning, half mast, and also we continue digging more and knowing more about our CDF Ogola, who joined the forces in 1984 and has actually been a very outstanding serviceman up to his demise yesterday. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. But how do you attribute, and actually what do you attribute his death to?
Let me say, accidents happen, and since we still have a team that has been that is going to be, if it has not yet been dispatched, it's they can come now back with the reports. It's too early to conclude, but we are leaving it to our able servicemen to go and dig more and get to know more and tell us more on what really went on.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Nabe, I don't know whether you can get me. Mr. Nabe.
Yes, Eugene, I can hear you.
Attribute the death of General Ogola too, and maybe how do you mourn General?
The death of CDF Ogola is quite, shocking to all of us. It is sad, and as a nation, we have lost a general who was a true leader. From the tributes we've had, especially from fellow servicemen, And even I listened to CS Eugene Wamalwa in the morning, explaining the working relationship they had and the things he has tried to, to introduce, his passion for the environment, his deliberate efforts to ensure that he brings change to that position of CDF is something that is commendable. I've heard his friends and his former colleagues describe him as an honest person, integrity, who worked his way honestly upwards from the time he joined the military. So we have lost a general, and we are sad as a nation. I can't say much about the cause, but what we know so far is that it was a plane crash, and from the government sources, investigations have been initiated. It is an accident that has happened before. We've lost senior security officers through the same kind of accidents previously, and we hope as a nation that this particular one will now mark the end of this, because a CDF is such a senior official in the military ranks that Ogola is being described as the first one to die while serving, and to die in such a manner. So I hope the investigations will be thorough enough, and I hope that um, um, we will not witness this again in the near future, because this is not the first time. That is how we lost George Saitoti, Orwa Ojode, and as a nation, questions are being asked about whether there is an issue with how we procure our military machines, helicopters, and aircrafts, or whether we have an issue with the way we manage them. So we hope that the government will be thorough enough. And it is sad that we lost Ogola, who had served, I think he's now the one who has served that position for the shortest time. And it is sad as a nation. I want to condole and to pray that the Lord gives his family strength. He leaves behind a wife and children, and even brothers, siblings. And I'm sure it is very, very sad for them. Together with the 9 other officers whom we have lost, it is really sad for us as a nation.
Okay. Let me just ask you this, Mr. Naibei, because I'm just wondering, you talked about, and of course, Irungu has also mentioned about investigations as we wait to understand the core issues that actually, what exactly happened to even, that even actually made this accident to occur. But the question has always been that we have had such tragic incidents before, but Kenya has never gotten any reports on exactly what did happen. They always do the investigations, but it ends at that. How can we actually start accounting for what happened? Because the people who are actually serving us are their governments, the people of Kenya, and even the resources that actually have been used to do the investigations are Kenyans. Even everything, including even the planes, were part of the Kenyans, the property for Kenyans. So is there anything that actually we can do about it so that we feel that the government is being accountable for actually all this, so that we have a clear report?
My wish is that, first of all, from yesterday until now, we've had a lot of speculations from Kenyans on what could have happened.
Or also, let me ask you this.
Yes, yes.
Is it also like maybe a law, or is there a provision that actually makes the government not to make these reports public, maybe so that we can even get to know?
I'm not privy to any law that prevents government from making such reports or such, investigations and the outcomes public. What I know is that government is secretive, and sometimes, the executive arm of government withholds the power to decide what comes to the public and what doesn't come to the public. You realize that yesterday that accident is reported to have happened at around 2 p.m., but the president announced it at around 8 p.m. No one else is allowed to make such an announcement to declare that the CDF is dead, except the president. And I believe that investigations of such a kind are matters of public interest. And matters of public interest mean that Kenyans are entitled to information. They are entitled to, those reports to know what happened exactly, given that it is a matter that touches on national security. So it is my hope that government, first of all, before launching that, lengthy investigation that might take some weeks, even some months to conclude, can we get at least something, some report at the moment that tells us this and this could have transpired? Because I believe by now they have something, they have some information, and that will help Kenyans at least, set the anxiety and stop the speculations. If there is something government has at the moment that explains, the immediate cause of the crash, that will serve the purpose of, satisfying Kenyans who are hungry for information. This is a matter of public interest, and I believe that there is no law, there is no constitutional provision that, and I'm not privy to any legislation, any law that prevents government from making such a report public. It is in the interest of government to explain it and to satisfy Kenyans that this is what happened. And previously, as you said, we've had similar accidents, but we've never really gotten conclusive reports that explain. And that again goes down to the fact that government is, it has the prerogative, it has the power to withhold that which they think should not come to us, and they have the power to reveal that which they think the public should consume. It is my hope that the executive, led by the President of Kenya, will be, transparent and truthful to just let investigations be done and let the report come out, because that is what we desire as Kenyans. Whoever is coming to take over that position, whoever is also occupying other senior ranks in security in government, should also be interested, because it can still happen in future. So it is in our interest as Kenyans that such a report is made public, and it is made public as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Naibe. Let me just come to you and ask, because actually even this incident begs a lot of questions. Mr. And of course, the General himself, Francis Ogola, had actually found his untimely death in the line of duty. And actually the question will be, because for a long time we've talked about banditry. It is still a very critical issue that we're tackling as Kenyans. And it has been a thorn in the flesh of Kenyans, since, because it has actually affected so many regimes. Even dating even from Kibaki's regime. It was there during Uhuru's regime. And now even the times of Ruto. But the pertinent question would be, from where you sit, do you think that we are headed somewhere? And maybe just to answer this, do you think that for the reason why we've had this quite a long time, is that there could be people who are very influential, who sits in the inner sanctums of power within the Kenyan system, who are actually funding or who are actually behind even the banditry? That is why we have had it for quite a long time.
Thank you, Jim. We cannot rule out the possibility of having powerful individuals who actually want this banditry war to continue. We have had a few investigations going on from some of the very popular and top politicians who have been accused of push or inciting residents into the issue of banditry. But also, we must not forget that banditry has had quite a long history, even pre-independence. Even there was still issues on banditry, and it arises from different factors. Sometimes you'll hear it's about they are fighting over boundaries. Some it's about communities. Some it's just about their norm and customs, like that. Like you have to before you get to this stage, you have to go out there, steal cattle, bring back home, and also it also comes to even deeper issues like the sale of guns and such kind of things. So currently, I must say that we are trying. We are going in the right direction, since we can comparing the last 10 years and what have been done in the past 1 or 2 years, or actually 1 year. The Minister of Interior, Honorable Kithure Kindiki, has actually been doing quite a lot of good work. And the President, our Excellency Honorable William Samoei Ruto, has been very consistent about the issue of banditry. So, considering all those factors, let me say that we are heading the right direction. And that's why even the President deployed. He has actually done that, giving executive orders twice. The first one was, I think, last year, when he ordered, the military is not supposed to be, to actually, there are specific instances that the military can operate within the borders. So after that order came out, he deployed the Kenya Defense Forces to the banditry prone areas. And he went back again, and this time, around last month, actually insisted that the CDF himself, the late General Francis Ogola, should actually lead the team there to make sure that they have pruned and they have actually he actually cleans like banditry totally. So everyone in the security sector, in the government security sector, is focused mainly in dealing with banditry. So the President is actually doing the right thing, also with the ministers. Yes.
Maybe if you can get me, the question has been.
Yes,
the question is, why the Kenya Defense Forces generally, are they supposed to maybe work within the borders? Isn't that the work of the police? A pertinent question actually that maybe someone would wish to know. And even so, someone will maybe ask about the state of banditry generally, even as you speak about it. Could there be people who are actually very influential within the system and actually funding this? And of what benefit would the banditry be to even some of these people if it was a case?
Thank you, Eugene. On the role of KDF, I think generally KDF is supposed to take care of our national security at a different level, not really to deal with bandits, but the law permits government and its commander-in-chief to direct that KDF provides reinforcement where it is needed. And I think that is what the President did by deploying the military to assist the other security personnel in dealing with banditry. As you've said, this problem of banditry it has been there for a long time. It is still there, and it looks like it is going to continue persisting unless unless there is a change of tact. It is tied to so many issues. It is complex. It starts with the issue of illicit firearms, which these bandits procure illegally. Um, uh, some investigators have revealed that these bandits purchase their bullets from our security officers, police officers, and there is a way, I think, government security officers, participate in selling these firearms and even in availing bullets to them. So there is a role, that they play. There are politicians who support and even fund banditry for different reasons. Some of them do it as a trade. There are reports that they sponsor them to steal the cows and where they are transported to, some of them are even transported to Nairobi and they are slaughtered and sold. Then there is the issue which my colleague there has alluded to about the cultural practices of these communities, where they have been brought up and they know that banditry, stealing cows is part and parcel of their cultural norms, where you have to, you have at some stage, at some age in life, you are forced to participate in it for you to qualify as a man. Those are bad cultures that I think we need to continue, condemning and encouraging these communities to abandon. Then, of course, there is the issue of poverty. Those regions, if you look at them, they are regions that are really marginalized. Government has not, invested heavily in those regions. And I think to resolve the issue, government needs to increase presence in those regions by building more schools, having more police stations, and even there are proposals that training camps for police officers, for even military officers should be positioned in those regions so that government is felt. They are also concerned that those regions are so marginalized that the schools, most of the schools they have, most of the health facilities and other amenities they have only been constructed by NGOs and faith-based organizations, churches, etc. So I think government needs to do something, and that is why part of the reason why General Ogola was there to supervise construction of some schools, just in a bid to ensure that government is felt and those people feel part and parcel of this government. I want to say that maybe the death of our CDF Ogola should be a wake-up call to these politicians who fund banditry. It should be a wake-up call to these communities who continue to practice this vice. Can this now be the end of it in honor of CDF Ogola? Can we end this issue? Because if it was not for banditry, maybe we would not have lost our CDF together with the officers he was accompanied with. It is something that is so shameful, it is primitive, and it is, it is backward. So you want to plead that government plays its role, but also these communities, these politicians, and those local leaders who promote the vice should just stop it, because we've lost leaders through that. Yeah, recently you had reports about an MCA who was shot. Previously we lost a regional commissioner, Chelanga, because they were trying to do the same thing that Ogola was doing, to go and just assess the situation on the ground. So I think it is long overdue. We need to get rid of this vice. Thank you, Eugene.
Before we take a very quick short break, but Director, if you allow me, let me just ask you this. If we could be having some people within the inner sanctums actually who are promoting this vice, then does it mean that we still have a long way to go from where you sit? And what next?
Yes, yes, yes. Most of these people are like very senior people in government, and they are one of the people or some of the people who actually plan such operations. Now, if you get someone who actually sabotaged the whole plan or the whole operation, now it becomes hard to achieve the end goal, which it's actually to get done and to get rid of all the bandits. And it has actually, it has actually been the question, like every single government that is in power, one of the things that they actually have to keep fighting is the issue of banditry. And that's why you see that if the root cannot be addressed, the root cause of all these issue on banditry, we'll continue having the same issue like every year, and because most like you see these are some of the most of the some of the very senior officials who actually leading or sabotaging all these plans.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rungu and Naibe. Of course, we're still having this conversation here on the Insight 211 is our SMS line at GBS TV Africa at Quatch Official. You get to have this candid conversation with us. We're taking a very quick short break, but we'll be right back in a jiffy.
Hi guys, welcome again to another amazing episode of the Youth Hub, the show that gets your groove on.
Hello. My name is Winfred Nyokabi Kangethe. I am a 24-year-old therapist, and I cannot wait to get into this conversation with this amazing host. Where is the standard of beauty? What are we measuring beauty with? You know, because when you tell me that just because I'm light skinned, oh my God, you're so beautiful. And
Hi.
Nyaga, counseling psychologist. I'm so glad to be in this show. I'm a musician. The way they want to see me as a musician. So, the every person should validate who you are.
Number one.
Yes.
Psychological stability, number one. Very, very important. You understand? Winnie ameongea something about alikuwa anataka kujichinja. Kujifanyia operation. Alikuwa anataka kujifanyia operation kwa upper lip. And then I have remembered there was a case of this young man.
Kipepeo was born in 2021, but the vision started in 2020 thanks to COVID. Question is, why did we choose to work with the name Kipepeo? It's about the journey of growth. From where we were born in 2021 and to where we are right now in 2023. We work with kids from grade 4. We journey with them through all the way, and we also adopt kids, students from universities. This is because when they plant a tree today, we assign them the responsibility of nurturing that tree.
Everywhere. GBS.
Welcome back to the Inside. Of course, we continue this conversation. And Naibe, if you can get me the question, even as we come to the end of this conversation around the morning of CDF Ogola, permit me to ask you, maybe what now next after the death of the general? Because I hear that, and of course, as you have mentioned, and as Irungwa here has put it right, that power or fears vacuum.
Yeah.
Yes. So let me just, if you can just maybe put it into context now, what next now?
Thank you very much, Eugene. I think what will happen next is, of course, we've heard that Ogola will be buried on Sunday as per the will that he left. His wish was that he be buried within 72 hours after his death. And I think after that, and even maybe as we speak, I'm sure government officials are busy trying to, to identify the successor. And to that extent, there are rules which were established by a former Army General, Daudi Tonje, which define the way in which succession is done for such a position. And we all understand that Ogola was in the Air Force wing of the military. What will happen after this is something we wait to see, but already there are names that are being proposed. I can't name them at the moment, but I have heard about a vice chief of defense named Charles Kariri, who is currently the vice, and who is being, people are discussing and they're saying he could be the next CDF. I don't know whether he will meet the rules that are specified in those rules that were established by Daudi Tonje. But that is the discussion that is ongoing. I want to believe this is also going to be done very fast, very promptly, because as you've said, in such a position, it has to be filled almost immediately. So we wait, that will be the prerogative of the president again, but he has to follow the rules and the traditions of the military. Back to you, Eugene.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want us to shift this conversation to another conversation, which I know you will be so vast with, and that is on politics, right? Let's talk about a bit politics. And the first thing I would wish us to talk about is a conversation around party politics. Let's begin with the UDA, actually. So there's been a conversation and about folding parties that are actually affiliated to UDA, United Democratic Alliance, and to form and merge as one. And just permit me to ask you, of course, because I understand that there are there's a provision for two deputy party leaders, three deputy party leaders, if I got it right. I do not want to ask, number one, what is the take of Mount Kenya in this? Because we have had some part of the leaders actually who are against this. Let me just get this from you, Irungu, because I understand that you've also been, you've also walked that path in politics, and maybe you have a better understanding of all the politics they are running. You maybe tell us, how is the ground talking about this, Mr. Irungu?
Okay.
I know you're not tule wa mabarua, lakini you can understand a bit about this. So maybe how's the ground looking at this? And in general, how does it play now that we have three deputy party leaders? There's the provision for three deputy party leaders. What is the power play? What is the play?
Okay, thank you, Eugene. In Mount Kenya, we are very categorical. We just want one party leader. We know we just want one party leader and one deputy party leader. And that's one of the ultimatum that we had to come down to before we even now plan these elections that we're having, the party elections. Initially, we had boycotted party elections. We had actually insisted that there's no way we are going to have elections in which that we'll have three deputy party leaders, which actually has never been heard of. So in order to continue with the elections, we came into an agreement in the long run that after the elections, the party elections have been conducted, and we have now the National Governing Council, we will be able to now call all the delegates, and we will be able to amend that part of the constitution, which allows for three deputy party leaders, and have one deputy party leader, and also one party leader. Now it comes to that on the ground, that has been the stand. The stand has not changed, and we are going on to push for that one deputy party leader. Who in our case is our Excellency Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. Yes.
Okay. Let me just ask you this.
Okay.
What do you think was in the mind of those people who were coming up with this proposal of maybe having the provision of the position of three deputy party leaders in the constitution of the UDA?
Okay. I was one of the people who were actually drafting the constitution, and the end goal was to make sure that we have a balanced region representation, specifically to win the elections.
Okay.
So when we did that, there was a tussle between who was going to be the running mate during our party primaries.
Okay.
And I can remember very well that it was on June 2022 that our deputy president, then he was the MP for Madeira, and when the tussle became really tough, there was an agreement now between the two contenders, who was now Professor Kithure Kindiki and now Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. And majority of the MPs were against Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. They were willing to bet with Professor Kithure Kindiki, but the MP for Madeira had actually stood with the party for a very long time, and he was a preferable candidate to our then deputy president, and now the president, Honorable William Samoei Ruto. Now that we did that part and we finished that part, and we got we were able now to get to get the seat and also the government. Now plans are underway to make sure that that issue doesn't continue to be an issue, since it will actually break the party, and we are trying to make the party stronger. And that's why now the issues of folding of parties folding and joining the UDA party has actually been like the top agenda of the UDA party.
So let me ask you, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Irungu.
Yes.
You come from Mount Kenya.
Yes.
You are among the people that actually sat down to make and create the constitution of UDA.
Yes.
Before you guys came up with who was going to be the runners-up to President William Ruto when he was a contender then.
Yes.
Now that they want, just a question that someone would even ask.
Sure.
Now that Mount Kenya has now gotten the position of a deputy party leader, of course, a runners-up, running mate during that time, and now the deputy. What is so? Why do you guys want to change the constitution? And of course, you're mentioning about you do not want to tear the party apart.
Yes.
Didn't you have this mind while creating the constitution before the position of deputy party leader maybe was given to Gachagua?
Okay.
From the land of Mount Kenya.
Okay, thank you, Jean. Like I had mentioned, that
will it seem selfish?
Well, it's not selfish, since we are trying to keep that agreement. The minute you bring two equal, with equal responsibilities, the minute you bring, let's say, let me say, for example, like the Jubilee Party. The Jubilee Party, when it became that it has two party leaders, it had to split. And now, after splitting, we don't want the same to happen through our UDA party. We actually had to work tirelessly to make sure that the party has actually been well accepted in the Mount Kenya region. And when you go through, when you see the way things are going currently, if you bring 3 deputy party leaders, same responsibilities, same power, there ought to be a power tussle. And that's why you saw that when there was a tussle between now the Prime Cabinet Secretary.
So you want to tell me, let me just cut you short. You want to say that those people who were actually creating the constitution did not foresee this one?
Yes, we did not foresee that one.
Okay.
Since
or the mind was, if a person who was not coming from Mount Kenya ascended to the position of the running mate, then it means that there was still a chance to get the position of the deputy party leader.
Yes, it was like a win-win situation for everyone in the table.
Just hold the thought there.
Yes.
Let me also get to hear from Naibei. Naibei, you've been listening to this conversation around the folding of parties. I don't know what you think about it. Maybe from UDA side, what really is happening and what is the power play? Who wins and who exactly loses? Because some of the major parties that actually will be folded is that of Musalia Mudavadi, ANC, and of course that of Wetangula, that is Wetangula's Ford Kenya. And even after this conversation, even as we have this conversation, there's other people actually from Western who actually also complaining that, and they've started another Tawe movement. But before we talk about that, let me ask you, what do you think about this? And even now, as you also join it with what he's saying of 3-party leaders, but now they want to change the constitution.
My honest opinion about folding of parties is that it is an agenda that tends to draw us back to the Kanu days, where we had one party ruling, one party, all of us were to follow the footsteps, Nyayo. And maybe I must comment that between the period between 2013 and 2015, URP was folded. We also had TNA, which was folded, and the product was Jubilee. Later on, we saw the consequences of that folding of parties and trying to, to have one political party. Because when we got Jubilee, it reached a point where the URP wing of Jubilee were aggrieved that it looked like they were, they were shortchanged to fold their own party. I am concerned that, UDA is now the one in power, and they are the ones trying to coerce the other political parties to fold, knowing very well what the leaders, the stalwarts of UDA suffered when they were, when they were owning URP. So I believe these political parties can still exist independently in the spirit of, the constitutional amendment that we did, that we fought for in 1992 to allow multi-party democracy. And we've seen how alliances have worked from 2007, 2013, 2017, and even 2022. And going forward, I think political alliances, political formations through different political parties coming together can still work, because every political party has a chance to negotiate. They have a chance to, to come to the table and to ask for a few slots. But forcing everyone to come to the table under the same, the same political party, and especially folding political parties that have been there for quite some time, like ANC, is kind of, it doesn't sound well, especially when it looks like they are being coerced to do so. If they choose to voluntarily fold their party, that is okay. But in the spirit of, independence, political independence, and just to allow, to give every political player a chance to participate equally in, in deciding who forms the government and who takes what. It is good that we have those many political parties, and it is also good that we ensure we don't find ourselves in the situation we were in from 2002 going backwards, where only one political party was the ruling political party, and you are not allowed to be in any other political party. Um, um, the motive, of course, is the ruling party will want to bring everybody on board and to have a control on how they do things, to control and to ensure that they get enough seats in Parliament, in the Senate, and National Assembly. It is it is the best and the most practical way to ensure that the government of the day gets the support of Parliament through as many as possible elective positions. But if the parties, the individual political parties are not willing, it is not necessary. They can still have an alliance. They can still reinforce the Kenya Kwanza alliance going forward, going to 2027, and they can still get those political seats without having the small parties folded.
Okay. Irungu, let me just ask you this. Who stands to gain and who stands to lose in this? And actually, what is now the power play between, because what will be in the mind of the president? Because for the president to allow this, it means, for this to happen, actually, it means that it has got the blessings of the president. So what will be happening? What will be the power play, even as we gear towards 2027? Because we know that Kenya is always a political nation.
Yes.
So what will be playing in the politics? What do we expect?
Okay. What I know is that the president is trying to bring what we call unity, and also he wants a united front. The minute you can see how chaotic it was when for the last 10 years, when during the European and also Kenya, recently the Jubilee Party like regime. When you have a united executive, but you have a divided legislature, it's really hard to run the country. Also, the same thing with the judiciary. And now, now the president realized where the problem was, and instead of fighting the judiciary, the executive, he decided to bring them on board. And that's why, like you see, him insisting to have like one party regime, is to make sure that all the plans that we had even before we got into office, during the manifesto, and what we have done so far, is to make sure that we have everyone on board, and everyone actually can see where we are headed. And during the 2022 elections, I ran for the speaker seat, for the Nyeri County speaker seat. And from what I gathered within that time during the campaign period, it's really hard to govern or to direct a divided assembly or a divided executive, in case now of governors. But since the governor or the president has the power to appoint the executive, and also to get rid of the one executive member who is not cooperating, it's also very hard for the president or the governor not to control per se, but to direct an assembly that is not at peace, like the case of Meru County.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you see all those factors, you put in all those factors, you can see that the president is looking for the good faith and the goodwill of the people that he is working or he is leading to be able to achieve the plans and the goals that are there.
Thank you so much. We have come to the end of this conversation. And maybe just give us your last few remarks, actually, even as we come to the end of the show.
Thank you, Eugene. First, thank you for hosting us today. And also, as we go on, I hope we'll be having more of such kind of conversations. And lastly, I also want to wish my people back there at Nyeri who are watching, say hi to them. And also pray that we work with them the Senate journey in 2027 and be able to represent them properly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Naibe, what's your last take as we come to the end of the show?
Thank you very much, Eugene. My last parting shot is just to continue urging Kenyans to pray for our nation, and even as we mourn, we want to support. We stand in support with our KDF and all the families that have lost their loved ones. It is not easy, and as a nation, we utilize this opportunity to reflect on our individual roles as citizens, our roles as leaders, the role of government in ensuring that we realize peace in our nation, because the reason we are in this is because those military officials led by the CDF himself were trying to ensure that our nation is peaceful and is secure. So what is our role as citizens? What is our role as members, especially from those counties that are being looked at? Can we do something? Can we use this moment to say, let's put to an end this issue of banditry? Let's put to an end this issue of this primitive culture of banditry in honor of CDF Ogola. Otherwise, thank you very much, Eugene. I'm glad to be here. It is always a pleasure. I wish you a blessed night to all the viewers as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Eric Naibe, for joining us for this conversation. Eric Naibe is an advocate of the High Court and, of course, also an analyst. And, of course, also joining us here is Evans Irungu, an analyst joining us here, and a member of UDA party. Thank you so much for finding time also to be here as we continue to indulge in this discourse. And for you for finding time to be part of this, we are grateful to have you. And, of course, we thank you so much. This is GBS TV Africa, and my name is Eugene Ochienkwach. And on behalf of the team, of the people who have actually made this happen, we wish you a very good night and see you next time.